coming tonight. We know that you probably had plans to come yesterday, but the weather was not great yesterday, so it was postponed to today. And the weather was almost as worse today than that. So we appreciate you coming to Integrated Arts and Technology High School Receivership Hearing and Forum. So my name is Kevin Klein, and I'm the principal here of Integrated Arts, and I've been the principal for the last 10 years. And we are here to do the public hearing. As you can see, receivership is a state determination of schools that have been kind of struggling and continue to struggle, so we are looking for ways to improve. And this hearing here is about that. It's not about the negative, but what's the positive that we can do to change our school and come up with some good feedback about things that we can do. Okay, so the process for receivership is listed here, and I do have copies of the PowerPoint around because I'm not going to speak word for word because that is deadly in presentation. So, but the key thing to know is that we really have to take a look. We've got to improve. The first phase of receivership is that the superintendent will be our receiver, and then we will move on from there. So we are going to get some data points that the state's going to send to us, but they have not sent those yet, so we don't have those yet, but we are going to receive indicators from the state that we have to make sure we're improving on. So this year, several schools have gotten off the list of receivership, and 10 additional schools got placed on the receivership list. So we are one of them. Okay. By February 18th, which was Sunday, we had to have a public hearing. So we were running out of dates. I'm sure we didn't want to cancel it today and have it on Valentine's Day. I'm sure that wouldn't have been a good time to have it either. So and next week's a week off from school, so there was no time but the present to do this. So so we did put out robocalls and a letter and alert everybody about the determination, and now we are moving forward with our planning. So, so the purpose of this hearing is I'm going to talk a little bit about the current data. I'm not going to read it all to you because it is in the packet. If you don't have one, there's piles on the edges. You can grab one if you need one. But we're going to have an opportunity for this community to engage and give us some ideas of what we can do to get better. And then we're going to have our receivership plan created. So just an overview of our school. We have 831 students, and we were originally supposed to have 450. So we are almost 400 kids over what we were supposed to have initially. So, and we do have restorative practices here. We are a one-to-one school. We have a health-based center, and last year we were a priority school. So we have 27.6% special ed. We have 24.5% ELL, and our poverty rate is just over 90%. So we do have some challenges, but it's whether we're going to meet those challenges. And you can see some of the demographics of our students. Basically, it's 50-50 boys and girls. Hair here, hair there. And our ethnic makeup is 44% African American, 40% Latino, 10% white, and 4% a mix of other groups. So our attendance is starting to go up, but we still have an issue with attendance. We have 259 kids who have missed 20% more of school this year already. So, we do have an attendance team. We're working on that, and we're trying to improve that already, and it has started to go up. So, as for suspensions, we are about half of what we had, less than half what we had last year, and we are working on that. And we're hoping to make sure that we have some other avenues. We do have peer mediation and the restorative practices and such to try to help with the school climate. As for our individual data, we are cited because our middle school ELA, our middle school math, and our graduation rate. And you'll see when we go through the slide, when I get to the next slide, this is, well, let me go back. So math is of a concern, although this doesn't show the great success we have with our 8th graders taking algebra, because they don't count, yet 96% of the kids who in 8th grade who took the algebra test passed it, but that doesn't get scored. So, one thing also to note is that our growth score, even though we're not hitting the proficiency mark, we're hitting the effective growth score mark for 7th and 8th grade ELA and math. So our growth scores have been in the effective range. So when you take a look, overall data that got us on the list is right there, and a graduation rate needed to be at 67, and the total graduation rate, because they're still working on it from last year, wasn't there, so but for the year before it was 62.8. Okay, so just a quick review of our SIG components, because we are a SIG school, which is School Improvement Grant School. We have 3 components that we look at. It's a college preparatory instructional program. We have the building relationships and personalization of school, and the continuous improvement component. Now those are the components we're going to ask you for help on in just a few minutes. Okay. We also, so in the SIG, we have these posters are going to be either in the hallway, right outside the library, or there's 2 stations in the library that have some information on that we want your input on. We want to know what ideas do you have to help us improve, okay? Now, there's no students here yet, but I know the first thing that they're going to say is better food, because that has been like the number, every time we have a survey, anytime we do it, the first thing is, we give you better food. So, what do you think the second one is? We want to carry our salt. But when you get beyond that, they start to have really good ideas about improving instruction that sometimes we don't think about. So, so that's the first component. The second component about building relationship and really getting to know our students that will help us move our school forward, have those particular components in it, the subcomponents, I guess. And then the third component, which is continuous improvement, is a lot about using the data and using the supports that we have for our students that need extra support. So those are the ones that are built in to the SIG grant, but there's 2 other ones that we want to also focus on. Some instructional programs that are not in the SIG grant, so like our CTE program, some of the Common Core or the next generation standards, or like in the new vision standards for social studies. These are all new things that we want your feedback on, and if you have any ideas about it. And then the last one, that last component, is operational structures, okay? Maybe the footprint of where we are on the Franklin campus. Our time schedule, extended learning time, block schedule, those, because we do have some block scheduling this year, but we don't have, it's not school-wide. So those are the features that we're going to ask that you rotate through today. We're going to have different stations. You're going to rotate, offer your insight, and so we can take it, because we go in and we respond, and we take a look at what you're saying, and we come up with a plan on how we can input your items. Now, there will be some things that are beyond our control that we wouldn't be able to put in. I can't even, Dan, you got one that might not be?
Well, so sometimes there's like district policies for transportation or things like that.
Right. It's beyond us, but we would say, we would try to put it in, but we have to get additional support from the district. So those are types of things that we have. So we have select members of our committee here today, and I'd like to introduce them. So myself, I already introduced myself, but if we can have Ms. Groff, Donna Groff, can you stand up and just wave? All right. Elizabeth Dunn, or Liz Dunn, Paula Machuca. Okay. Leslie Grant. Mike Viscon. Rhonda Neal. Okay. Leilani Scott, I think, is still working. She's planning on getting her soon. Dr. Pam Kissel is, she was ready to be here yesterday because she was going on vacation today. So she will be joining the team after, when she gets back. So Linda Bell is from the Center for Dispute Settlement. I don't see her here, but she helps coordinate our peer mediation program. Dr. Jeff Lyles is from St. John Fisher. Allison Bosworth is also from St. John Fisher. Ms. Estevez? No. Ms. Nabon? No. The other Miss Estevez, her sister, she's not here either. And Nayeli is a student. She'll be here when she gets out of work. Both of our students work at the hospital and then come over, or planning on coming over after. So, how this is going to work today is that we have tables or stations set up. Component A and B are in here. All right. Components 1, 2, and 3 are in the hall. We have members of our CET team at each station, and they are going to listen to what you have to say. You're going to write the big overarching ideas on the wallpaper, and then there could be some notes they take on a note catcher that they have, so that if there's any nitty-gritty stuff that we need to put in there, we can do. So, it'll be about a 10-minute per section rotation, and then there is also an email address that if you have other things you want to add, you just have to email that, and that email funnels through the system, and eventually the CET team will get it. Okay? And most importantly, there is food. So feel free. There's pizza and cookies and bottles of water for everybody who would like some. Okay? So, is there any questions about the process? So if we can give our CET team members a chance to get to their respective stations, giving them a second, and then we'll maybe count off by number, and then we'll get people flowing through the path, okay? So, how about this 5 start at component A? That's in this room. These 5 start at component B, which is, are you B?
I am B.
B is B. You're going to start over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. You're going to start at component 1 in the hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Number 2 in the hallway. 1, 2, 3, 4. Somebody else comes.